We're on the record. Great. Good morning. This is the time and place set for the regularly scheduled monthly meeting of the Nevada Taxicab Authority Board. Is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. The hour is 9:32 a.m. We're at the Nevada State Business Center, 3300 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 400 in Las Vegas, Nevada. I will call us to order, and the record should reflect that present are members Vasquez, Vice Chair Graff, and myself, Dan Research Chair. The administrator is present, and we are ready to go. We are expecting our other two board members, but we will get through some of the perfunctory matters first while we wait. I'd ask Member Vasquez to lead us.
Thank you. Okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Having reviewed affidavits and confirmations of posting and notice, it appears to me that this meeting has been properly noticed and posted in accordance with that open meeting law. Do you confirm that?
Yes.
Takes us to agenda item 2, which is our first public comment session. Matters are set on our agenda for the purposes of allowing to take comment from members of the public on matters within the jurisdiction of the board. While we cannot take action on those matters, we welcome members of the public views on things that we should take attention to. Is there any member of the public present in the room in Las Vegas who would like to address us? And clerk, is there anybody online who wants to address us?
No.
I'll close agenda item 2, public comment. Takes us to the board meeting minutes of October 15, 2025. Plus, if we have people who were there. It's been provided to members of the board for review. Any changes, additions, corrections, heartburns? Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of October 15th. Favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. This takes us to agenda item 4, which is set on our calendar for industry discussion. This is an opportunity we regularly provide for people, members of the certificate holders, to provide any comments, suggestions, observations, concerns we ought to be paying attention to. Is there any member of the industry that would like to address us? Seeing none, Administrator, you should take that as you're doing just perfectly.
Thank you, sir.
Takes us to agenda item 5. This is a public hearing on the application for pilot program participation by Taxicab series. Pilot program will allow passengers to use technology network company and CE apps to connect to Taxicab service. And this is the Taxicab application. And you are proposing to use Curb or Captain. Is that correct?
In the beginning, Curb and Captain,
Oh,
just
okay.
to test both.
Or in our, okay.
I'm sorry, and or.
Okay. Good morning. Could you place your name on the record and?
No problem. Mike Malloy, General Manager for Taxicab Taxi. I want to thank Chairman, the board, Administrator, staff, everybody. Hi, good morning. Just wanted to one, say thank you for hearing our humble application here. We kind of misunderstood that more applications are going to be heard from previous meetings. We saw everybody else was going to get to participate. We kind of wanted to throw our hat in the ring there. So aside from that, there's only one correction to our application that needs to be made, which some other people brought to my attention. It's a little typo. On our main application for Curb, it says taxi trip secured through Curb app will be paid by Curb. And they can pay it if they want, but Uber is actually going to be paying those rides, not Curb in that case. So other than that, that's the only mistake that we caught on there, or other people caught that they corrected.
Anything else?
No, I welcome any questions, comments, concerns, hopes, and prayers.
So we have previously approved a number of applications to be placed into the pilot program that was approved in August. Z-Trip is operable. We'll be discussing an agenda item. Seven, I think. No, agenda item 6. The status of those applications as compliance items. My thought and recommendation to the board is that we approve this application subject to the same conditions that were imposed on everybody else. And Webb, you have.
I have a clarification question for Mr. McCall.
Oh, okay.
You had stated that the typo was being paid by Curb. You mean priced by Curb?
Oh, I'm sorry, priced by, I apologize. Yes, priced by Curb. It's priced by
By,
Correct.
thank you.
fair set by taxi trip secured through the Curb app will be priced by Curb. That's correct, but I'm sorry, it says oh, thanks. But the by Curb Mobility LLCs, okay, yeah. Curb apps, Curb fares and the Curb app are set by Curb, but any Uber ride, any TNC ride through Curb's technology will be set by.
Because that's a little different than what I understood.
Okay,
That you were, okay.
okay. Good correction,
So
good correction.
I guess my question, because I made an assumption and it was perhaps wrong, is that you would be doing the same as the other applications we approved that were using Curb.
Correct.
You're not changing any method by which you're.
No, the technology will be exactly the same as anyone else that's piloting the Curb technology. The typo is a mistake.
Okay. The record should reflect that Member Weekly's been able to join us. Good morning. We're on agenda item 5. Okay. Now you get
Good.
acclimated.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And the status of 5 right now is that this is the application that's, I don't mean this in any negative way, kind of trailing the applications that have already been approved in 6. So my recommendation, Member Weekly, is that we approve the application with the same compliance conditions that we imposed on the matters that are in agenda item 6, which we're on agenda item 5 right now.
And then this isn't a question for the applicant, it's a question, I think, for staff. Which other pilots are using cab? Just so I can pay attention to
Curb.
number 6.
Curb.
Curb, thanks.
Lucky, Western, Nellis, and I believe there's 11 cabs from Deluxe that'll be using the Curb meter. Or we. Oh, I see it.
Yeah, I knew that there was, want to make sure, paying attention.
And if I can, that we're piloting 10 vehicles with the Curb technology. The rest of them will still be captive.
Okay.
Just kind of testing the water out.
No, I appreciate that.
So you're going to have Curb in 10, and then the rest of the fleet will be in cap.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Any questions from the administrator?
No, sir.
Any questions from other?
No.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion then. And I think you can simply incorporate by reference the compliance conditions that were previously imposed.
Make a motion to approve ACAP series. Move forward with the pilot program, right? Or the same post, make a motion for that.
Second.
And just for clarification on the record, with the same compliance conditions that were previously imposed on other carriers.
Yes.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're in the bucket with everybody else. Error on my part. Member Decker did tell me that he would be out of town on business for the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
He's out of the state.
Okay.
Just remembered that we're in November.
Right.
Almost the same. Yeah. That takes us to agenda item 6. These matters are set on the calendar today to determine, and we'll continue to do this until everybody's been able to satisfy their compliance condition. Hear which of the applications that were approved last month to join the pilot program have been able to meet with the authority, satisfy conditions A through F. Way.
Good morning, Curtis Mell, Deputy Administrator for the Taxicab Authority. I want to just go over that the CURB had met with the Taxicab Authority and demonstrated their product of the integration of how Uber is going to work and outlining all the compliance items that were previously set forth by Z-Trip. They demonstrated everything accurately and did a mock run of how it's going to work, and it does meet all the criteria that's been set forth previously by Z-Trip compliance items.
So those compliance items, now I just want to go through them briefly. First was that the administrator previously determined there weren't any objections from any governmental authority.
Correct.
You did receive clarification on treatment, how venues
Yes.
will
And how
be
that
handled.
the airport's geo fenced out and the certain areas and that Uber has outlined with Z-Trip will be geo fenced out as well.
Okay, so they'll be doing the same, they'll be
Yeah.
following the same.
The same exact criteria and with regards to drop off areas and how to interact with a active taxi stand and PNC area.
And looked at the signage and it
Yes.
cleared it.
Yeah,
Not applicable within zones.
correct.
Did they do a 2-week?
No, they did not. They have the ability to do mock-ups to
Oh, okay.
simulate.
Well, E is not a mandatory, it's a,
Right.
they could do that. Cooperate with it. And you're comfortable that you're going to get the monthly report.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions of? This would be just as the code.
This is just the curb tablet meter system that runs independently with its own meter that currently is in the cabs that were listed just recently, which is Lucky, Western, Nellis, the 10 at Deluxe, YCS. So anyone that's using it, they'll notify. If they're not currently using the meter, we'll be notified of the changeover. Our inspectors will inspect and make sure it's all properly done and meets the same criteria.
And we ask that, well, we're taking monthly reports, but in the monthly report, we know when they turned on and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can add that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, just let us know.
Yes.
In the December meeting when they turned on and who turned on and.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
good question.
Sure, sure.
Thank you. So with this pilot program, this is a voluntary program, pilot, right?
Yes, but it's voluntary, but everybody, I think now, everybody has applied to be in it.
Okay, that was going to be part two of my
So
question.
Z-Trip started and got an approval,
Yeah.
satisfied the compliance conditions, and did a 32 or 3 day between
45
September
days.
2nd and
Couple days past that.
October 17th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then they came back and asked to extend that. And then at last meeting, everybody but ACAB, I think ACAB was the only trailing. I wanted to watch what everybody else went through before he did it. You might, and we approved those subject to the same compliance conditions last month. So everybody, the entire industry now has been approved to go in. The only operating one right now is Z-Trip, but this would allow those that plan to use the Curb app to flip the switch. And then we extended all of the pilot program last month for 184 days, which went to our April meeting? Yeah, our April meeting. So that everybody had enough time, remember, weekly to get up and running, and we get at least hopefully 60 to 90 days of statistics from the entire industry. Because right now we only have statistics from ZCAB. So this thought should be helpful to allow us to see the entire industry.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Curtis Majors, but
Can you,
sorry, George Balaban with Desert Cab and Virgin Valley Taxi. Of all the operators, E-Trip is using AutoCab. The rest of the industry, other than my two companies, are using Curb. We're using Captain exclusively for our integration. So I'm going to let Chris from Captain is here, is going to explain to you where we are in the process, because rather than do a mock-up of rides, we are waiting to actually have Uber rides sent to us. So we need that contract, but Chris will kind of explain. The integration is done, but we're waiting on some technical stuff, signage by Uber.
waiting for what?
For Uber to sign.
Oh,
contract,
okay.
But Chris will explain where we stand.
Chris Bordenero with Captain. George pretty much said it. So
George's introduction.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Captain has completed the integration with Curb. We've done the testing. We're waiting on what they call administrative testing. We can't start that, unfortunately, until there's a couple more contract pieces on the business side that need to be finalized. We're hoping that's going to be done. We were hoping it was going to be done last Friday. So we're hoping sometime this week that will be concluded so we can start running administrative testing. Administrative testing is very limited. However, we're supposed to be able to get in on that. Curtis, we could probably get you in on that, Todd as well, where you can actually run a demo version of the real Uber app and actually call some of the cabs, all paid for by Uber. So that'll be handy. So that's kind of where we are today. The compliance items that you sent over, the revised ones from yesterday, absolutely no problem with that. We were going to build you an additional dashboard
For the reporting part.
on top of the ones that you already have for those compliance items. Then you can go back and run them for prior months, et cetera.
So we just wanted to give you an update where we stood on.
So you should be in a position to flip the switch in December.
Yes,
Sure hope
Yep,
so.
so yeah. One of the latest update to all company DP5s went out earlier last week. So that should be the final one it needs. Then we just need to flip the switches and do some quick configurations and
So
we're up and running.
December 17th meeting.
Well, again, I would say we hope so. If the
Fine.
ball is in Uber's court, if
Yeah, no,
Uber
I-
doesn't sign the contracts and doesn't send us rides, we can't obviously test it.
No, I get that, but we should be in a position by the December meeting to know that you're there and
They're doing rides.
that the compliance conditions have been satisfied.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, and you'll be doing the same, the geofencing and all of that's not an issue, right?
Yeah, we'll, once we've signed this, then there'll be a presentation to
Okay.
Curtis to make sure that he
As soon as
understands.
staff does, good.
Okay.
We're gonna, George, as I try, this will stay on the agenda till everybody gets turned on every month. So that's why I asked Curtis, tell us when somebody's flipped the switch.
Yes.
So as soon as somebody shows the compliance conditions are satisfied, that's great, but we'll continue to have this every month until Curtis is able to say, everybody is up and running, and then at that point, we won't need to hear anything but monthly reports.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you all.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. You take action? You need to take action to find that the that the entities using curb mobility have satisfied the compliance conditions.
I also have a memo from Bill George. He's not able to be here today for an update on his stuff. If you want
Just a
that now.
report.
Yeah, it's
So
a
before
memo.
we take the report, can we take the action on those that have occurred? Entertain a motion.
What's the action that we're taking?
We're finding that the compliance, they had to come back and show that their compliance items have been satisfied before the curb app can be turned on. So anybody using curb
Proceed.
could proceed.
So I move that they have, the companies using Curb have shown the appropriate information that we required of them, and I move that they are allowed to proceed as soon as we get the okay from staff.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chair, with a question, of course.
Okay, and moved and seconded, discussion.
Just real quick, in terms of participation, when you look at the venues, I know at some point we questioned just some concerns in reference to Sphere and Allegiant and Convention Center, places like that. Have we received anything in writing that they are participants? When we say, I think I heard one of the gentlemen say that conversations were had with these particular places. Do we have any of that in writing that we know for a fact that there is participation and support?
So let me, I will respond to the extent I believe I know the answer, and the administrator or the deputy administrator can. With regard to the pilot program of cabs using the TNC apps as an alternative way of booking rides, hailing rides, what was necessary under the compliance condition as to venues was for them to say, we can't accommodate a cab using TNC application, or we need them to go to a different stand. And so for those venues that required that, this pilot requires that they geofence out any venue location that the venue does not want a cab picking up a TNC, functioning as a TNC. This was largely, in my view, prevent cabs using a TNC app from being in the cab line and then moving out of that cab line and going to the TNC and that venue not wanting that traffic pattern. So the venue got to say yes or no to how that would be administered at its venue. And some of the venues also had physical limitations, right? Like tunnel height
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So that we had to geofence those out, which that didn't quite understand that, but that's their choice. We don't, the venue doesn't want it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Chair. I just feel like some of these venues sometimes can have a different type of tone and attitude. And I just feel like it's our responsibility to make sure that our cab companies are taken care of and that everybody understands and agrees on the same thing, that our drivers are not treated in some kind of way because some new person has joined the team and doesn't understand the agreement that's in place. And I could see that happen. I promise you, I could see it happening. That you'll have drivers that are out there that are cab drivers, and you run into a staff member that is not fully aware of
Right.
what's going on, and his driver is treated a certain kind of way. And so I think that we need to make sure that there are some provisions and protections in place that's looking out for our drivers.
Two things. We in fact had that issue with a few of the strip hotels where the front doorman didn't know what was going on. But I think we've clarified that. I do want to make it clear to you weekly, this doesn't solve the other separate issue of queuing, actual cab stands and the flow at Allegiant or the Sphere. That's a separate topic that I don't know that we have complete solutions on at this point. The last report we got in the summertime was that Allegiant was looking, correct me if I'm wrong, Allegiant was looking at a complete kind of redo of how they were doing traffic patterns and get back to us is what I kind of remember.
I had a conversation, Member Weekly, actually, he and I discussed this as well, and I have not had any more discussion on it as of late.
Okay. So there is, I think, still a question about whether the cab stand or the cab queue at Allegiant and Sphere and maybe some other venues. I think we decided that T-Mobile was fine. It was working fine. But that issue is still on the docket, but doesn't really have this. We had to solve for a different problem with pilot,
Yes, sir.
which was, hey, don't we segregate cabs and TNCs at a particular property, and you can't be doing this. So then we said, okay, well, that can't do a pickup.
Yeah. Well, Todd's been really good to communicate with as it relates to that issue there, Mr. Chair. One of the things, now that I got some personal things taken care of behind me, that's one of the things through your permission is to work with Todd and follow back up with Steve Hill and his team over at the LVCBA. Because the LVCBA, well, it's not so much the LVCBA, but the Stadium Authority, although it leases it out to the Raiders, leases it out to ASM Global. Andy is a nice guy, and I'm sure Andy would be willing to come to town and sit down and have one of those kind of meetings. But same thing, I think we also made contact with Sphere as well. They're a little bit more, a little complicated, but I think to me it's just a matter of a conversation to explain the situation our industry is in and how we can all make this thing work as we deal with them. Because I'll tell you something, yesterday at the county commission, they voted and approved of the fuel indexing tax. And so it's going to be a whole lot more orange cones that we're going to be dealing with, which is a great thing for future generations. But in the interim, the drivers and everybody else is gonna suffer through all of that new construction that'll be on the way. And so we have to be able to come up with some type of contingency plan to make it work for everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any further comments or questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. That ends agenda item 6, other than the report on Z. Which you just distributed, right?
Yes.
So why don't we'll stand these just a moment while we skim through this.
Okay, or do you want me to read it in the record? Either ways. Whatever.
No, we'll make a copy. Are both of these items? Okay, both of these items, copies will be made part of the record, but I don't think you need to read to us. We can skim through it.
Perfect.
Unless you have a storybook.
I'm not a
with
good reader.
picture, with pictures and. We're having. Any questions of the administrator?
Are you going to be at the meeting on December 15th?
I do not know. I have not asked if I was going to be there or not. I was asked to facilitate a conversation between Mr. George and the airport. So I don't know if I'm going to go or not. I think they're going to be talking about places to pick up, drop off, things like that. I don't know.
You're talking about the DC meeting?
No,
The airport.
the airport meeting.
Oh, the airport meeting.
Discuss pickup zone logistics, staging and operating
okay, yeah,
procedures for pilot related rides.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah,
what.
it's right before our next board meeting. So maybe if you're not invited, you could at least find out what happened.
I don't mind going at all.
Okay, that.
Yeah.
If you can wheedle your way in, that might be helpful.
I will ask.
Anything else on agenda item? Great, that takes us to agenda item 7, which is staff report. Administrator,
Do we need to take any action on the issue? Or just?
No,
It's going.
it's going, it
Yeah.
just has to, once they're up and running, that
Yeah.
monthly report. We can ask questions, but there's no action. Unless a problem will arise. I don't even know. Yeah. It was agendized for action.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate it. I'm going to start with, I'll start with the statistics.
Statistics?
The statistics. And then I've got a few other things to try as well.
Okay.
Our rides, 1.2 million in the month of October, which is very close to last year's October. October is one of our higher months normally. Uh, I think, and you'll see in a presentation I'm going to give in a minute, rides have been declining at about, I believe it's 1.6% over the year, but they're fairly steady, but they are still declining.
Make sure I understand it. So there's a 1.6 annual
Annual,
average decline
yes, yeah, after COVID.
after
So,
COVID.
yeah, so we obviously, we had the big drop off after COVID and then we came back up, not quite the COVID levels, but since then we find a little. The lease revenue per trip was $20.95. The employee revenue trip was $20 for the month of October. The monthly combined trip comparison, we're about 500,000 rides less this year, and that's after the October, so we still have 2 more months to go. The medallions are still 3530, and the decals 2,124, and our inspections, for inspectors, we have 3,130 cabs in service. And for the agency stats, I'm going to ask my chief to come up, chief of enforcement, and go over the agency stats.
Morning, board. Chief Bill Padre for the record. So my stats are reflecting a 25% increase in lost property calls. A slight decrease in citations, but a huge jump in UPT tows, up to 7, which, considering all that we had going on in October, is a pretty big number. I would anticipate November to even be higher in UPTs, as this week we are focusing mostly on that for F1.
Any questions?
Good. I did have somebody reach out to me just this morning regarding the F1 surcharge. I know that the surcharge has been approved for F1 for New Year's Eve for EDC. They were asking if there's a list. That is the list, as far as my recollection, for the surcharge, and it's for this year.
2025 order that former Vice Chairman Soderberg pushed.
Yes.
Had the 3 events.
Yes. So will they need to
Yes,
ask?
it will have to
again
be
for-
back on the agenda.
I just want,
The order at that time on, and I think appropriately so, was that we would do annual, we wouldn't it wouldn't be perpetual, let go through an annual, because you could come back to us and say, this isn't working,
I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that
but right now it's just 2 F1s. Electronic daisy chain and New Year's.
thank you.
And the one order did do, as I recall, did New Year's 24 and 25 together.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of time. I provided a PowerPoint presentation for you, and see if we can get it up on the screen as well. I told you in the last board meeting that at some point I'm going to come and ask for an increase in the fees. Board is well aware of our financial situation at the Taxicab Authority. We've lost positions. There's no money for overtime. There's just, we've been struggling financially, and it continues to get worse. And with my last statement, with the rides going down, we see that continuing to happen. So why is the Taxicab Authority asking for a rate increase? The market impacts, operational strains, and the forecast. The drop fee has not been raised since 2003. The tech fee was created in 2013 and hasn't been raised since then. Rides have flattened. Again, the 1.68% decrease. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation has gone up 68.5%. It's hard to not get a raise when your inflation's gone up that much. The average inflation rate has been 2.68% annually during that period. The operational strain, like I said, annually examinations of depository and non-depository and fiduciary licenses, investigate possible violations and take disciplinary action arising from the complaints filed with the division, recruit and encourage proposals for de novo institutions, as well as the conversion of relocation of national and out of state charters into Nevada to increase capital intermediation in our state following a 50% loss during a recession. And to facilitate establish the fast-growing retail and family trust company market that brings scale. I just wanted to point out the statute. NRS 706-8825. It establishes Taxicab Authority Fund. It's the creation, deposits, the use, and a petty cash account as well. That's the statute that gives us the money. In NRS 706-8825, it states a technology fee in an amount set by the Taxicab Authority, you guys, for each compensable trip of each of these taxicabs. The fees set forth in 706-8825B and C must be added to the meter charge. That means that if a rate increase is approved, it automatically goes onto the meter. It's a pass-through. There does not have to be a request from the industry to raise the rate themselves to make up for whatever amount would be requested or approved. With the NRS stating that the fee must be added to meters, there is no need, like I said, that no need for the industry to ask for the pass-through. In NRS 706-8826, that gives the Taxicab Authority the ability to set the fee. Any other fee would need to have a line item, and it would need to be changed by the legislature. This is the one fee that the legislature has given the authority to the board to do, is the technology fee. In my closing budget, in the last legislative session on page 34, it says, as previously noted, the agency has the authority to set the technology fee. However, any changes to the trip charge fee would require enabling legislation to increase the fee. And then on page 35, it calls out the same statutes, but I want to read in bold the part. In consultation with the legal division, the Legislative Counsel Bureau, based upon current statutory language, it appears that the technology fee revenue may be used generally to defray the cost of regulating taxicabs in the county in which the certificate holder operates a taxicab business, but the revenue does not have to specifically be used for technological improvements in safety. Accordingly, the Taxicab Authority could consider utilizing the technology fee revenue and corresponding reserves to cover general operating reserve shortfalls in the 25 through 27 biennium if needed. What that means, you heard in the last board meeting, a supervisor dispatch came in. Dispatchers are paid by the technology fee. The technology fee at that time, as of right now, is pretty specific on what we can spend that money on. What the legislature did is open it up so we can spend that money to regulate the industry. So we won't be as restricted to how we're going to use any fee increase in the technology fee. Why I'm going to ask for 25 cents. We've done some fiscal analysis. Our fiscal unit and BNI has gone through and looked at it. It's a minimal adjustment with significant fiscal impact. We wanted to see
what they do on a daily basis. What they do on a daily basis, that's that's their pay, that the check they get every 2 weeks.
So then a
The
$289, $280,000 bonus has to be justified.
By what you do beyond what you do every day. So that's.
I'd like to be the one dishing out his bonus.
So I don't want to attend this meeting in person.
Just make sure that you don't have.
You need to go to the meeting.
Conversation, can you?
I think I got it. Okay. So sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Going back to why I'm requesting the 25 cents. We were looking for solvency for a 2-year, for 2 bienniums. The extras for more positions or unnecessary spending is not included in this. I'm not asking for the world. I'm not trying to build a kingdom with the agency. I'm trying to get us solvent. It allows for essential use of technology, the dispatchers, and something that I know Member Weekly is interested in, the taxi assistance program. As you know, in the last budget or in the last legislative session, we had to cut that because we didn't have the funds to pay for the TAP program. It does not bring back the enforcement positions that were taken in the last legislative session. But most importantly, this has to happen now, or the Taxicab Authority is going to become insolvent. And the date, I think it's June 2028, when we'll become insolvent. So we can't wait on this anymore. Under the current stripped down budget, with the declining rides and the rising costs making the status quo unsustainable, again, June of 2028 is a projection of when we'll become solvent. The current reduced program can't support essential operations, including staff, the TAP subsidy, restoration, the collective bargaining agreements, in compliance. That's ever changing. Equipment, technology needs, or maintaining a standard operating reserve. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know if our operating systems are going to crash. But if that happens right now, we're in a world of hurt. We need to get to a point where we can operate and survive something that could happen. The 25-cent increase is required to restore the baseline operations, meet compliance obligations, and maintain solvency across the next 2 bienniums. And I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. I know that this is not for action. My plan is at the next board meeting is to put it on the agenda and formally request the 25-cent increase from you. We had looked at different scenarios fiscally, working with our financial staff, working with the director's office. The governor's office is aware of this. And the 25 cents is what we need. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if I missed it, Todd, but is there any backup that shows us numbers in terms of technology fee?
Is there any backup documentation?
Yeah, I mean, as it relates to what the budget looks like, I don't know if, are there any numbers or something that we have?
I want to just supplement that's kind of along. So this would generate about 3 million.
Yes.
Okay, and where does that put your budget?
It makes us solvent for the next 2 bienniums.
Okay.
Nice. I'd hate, I appreciate the presentation, Todd, because I'd hate to see the Taxicab Authority pushed to have its back up against the wall. I don't think we should be that type of agency that pushes ourselves. But, in an economy that we're in, we want to make sure that we can justify and support 100%. And it's nothing like going to work and not being able to, make sure that your team is taken care of and that, they see that they have a board, that they have an administrator who has their back and is trying to make sure that they can keep a roof over their heads and support their families. I'm all for that 100%. I just think as we move forward, just making sure that we all understand, what this 3 million that you would generate, and that will get you, you say 2 bienniums, that will put us in that position. Yeah, just to just verify some numbers, just to see what that looks like.
Yes.
Be satisfactory for me.
I believe we have some of our fiscal people online.
Yeah.
If you have questions,
Just where are we today on numbers?
I'm sorry,
Where are you today on your numbers?
as far as.
Are you on budget? Are you under budget? Are you
We are
spending
on,
more than you have?
Thank
we
you,
are
Mr. Chair.
on budget, but with the 1.68% decline in rides.
Yeah.
Become insolvent June of 2028.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So before we put this on the agenda for next month, I too need to see the budget, the annual budget, as it's proposed through the biennium, this biennium. What the shortfall is going to be in terms of actual numbers. And then, and again, just to clarify, I came up with the same 3 million. I just did 12 million rides, 25 cents. You get $3 million, right? That's your math.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's annually. So the biennium means that you're getting $6 million, right?
Mhm.
So I need to see, you're saying that we can't use it to replace safety officers and that sort of thing, or to hire new safety officers. So then I'd like to see some sort of, like when you get a loan, a commercial loan, and they do sources and uses and that sort of thing. I'd like to see what we intend on doing in terms of the uses. If we're going to do it for dispatchers raises, then let's say that, or what we're going to handle and what we're going to put that into in terms of the budgetary uses. But
I will say that with the collective bargaining agreement, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, what's going to be passed for collective bargaining. I know in the past that has affected our bottom line with some of the CBA things that have been passed. Again, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I can tell you that one collective bargaining unit had asked for an increase in pay for the dispatchers. We couldn't afford to pay them. And so as of right now, their classification has been dropped. And
So may I chime in?
yes,
Emily Serby from Business and Industry Fiscal. We would be happy to provide you the backup numbers and documentation showing the overall budget for this biennium and where we are in terms of what has been spent and our projections out. We are currently tapping into reserves as we go along and eating those away slowly over the course of this biennium. So we do have that backup and would be happy to provide it. We can show you the backup to show where we're at with the collective bargaining expenses as well. So if there's any other specific fiscal information that you would like us to provide, we're happy to do that as well.
I was trying to be as broad as possible. So just take it as broad as possible. We want to see the budget. We want to see where the money goes. I want to make sure that if we're funding it, we're giving it as uses of these monies, that we can use it for what you're intending it for. So meaning,
Absolutely.
yeah. So like if it's technology fee monies and we can use that for X, Y, and Z, then great. But if it's a push and a pull, like in a CCB world where the taxes come in and it's supposed to go to education, but it really doesn't. It goes into another fund and it sort of pushes money out to go to education. I want to know that too, so that I understand it.
understood.
Yeah, and I also want to I want to make sure we've right-sized it.
Yeah.
25 cents is the right number. I'd prefer not to be doing this multiple times or having overpriced and need to cut.
No, and that's my thought, because on December 4th, we're considering another issue, and that's before the next meeting. So these are all timing wise things that have to be considered.
The other point, though, I want to make from your presentation is on your page 3, there's no need for the industry to request a rate increase. Well, the board itself has the authority to initiate a rate change.
Yes.
So, and I only point that out to Ms. Webb. I don't, this would be a board initiated rate review pursuant to that statute.
Thank you.
And I think that's particularly correct, given this is the technology fee, which has one place where it can go, just to the authority.
Right.
Any other questions on this matter?
Just real brief, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Todd, for putting this on to allow us to have this conversation, Mr. Chair. I think as we prepare ourselves for the 84th legislative session, I think that it puts some transparency in place for us, especially if we have to submit anything to the legislature in terms of a line item of approval or support. At least we have backup. We can support what it is that we're presenting here today, and even future items that may just put us in line with making sure that we're in compliance, with making sure that we're made whole so that we can continue to move forward. So thank you for this. I think you did it in a very timely manner, and I think it'll show in the long run, as opposed to waiting until the end of 26. Now we're making panic moves. Thank you.
Questions on this? Any other reporting? Mr.
No, sir.
Webb, your legal counsel, you have anything to tell us? Does our bag have anything we need to know? On future agenda items, for the board, I just want you to know, and you each were given a electronic copy of this, and you can get a hard copy from this web if you need. We have an application that will be heard. Oh, let me back up before we leave that. So, Ms. Webb, on presentation that the administrator just gave, will you draft a public notice one?
Yeah, just counting the days and have it published in the newspaper no later than Tuesday.
Where?
The newspaper no later than Tuesday.
On next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's doable. We'll get that done. You and I will get that done.
Yes.
That is, I was hoping you didn't mean the Tuesday that just passed.
Yes.
So we have an application that came in that's getting noticed or has been noticed. The Nellis, has that been noticed?
In your inbox.
Oh, there's 36 items there I just saw. We'll be hearing in December a transfer application related to Nellis Cab by a new entity that is, I believe the evidence will show, as I used to say, in tried cases, that it's by existing certificate holders. So I don't know that there's a lot of background, no new background. Also, as indicated by Vice Chair Graff, we have a special meeting on December 4th. And the purpose of that hearing, it's been noticed. The purpose of that meeting is to bring on for final hearing the Desert Cab Company rate adjustment pass-through case. Did you confirm time?
The notice is 9:30 a.m.
Then the notice is 9:30?
9:30 a.m. and IT has been notified to change the website
Okay.
to 9:30.
So I asked Ms. Webb to confirm that the public notice says 9:30, we commence at 9:30 on the 4th, and we will commence at 9:30 on the 4th. Contrary to what is posted on our website, which says we're starting at 8:30 in the morning. I don't even think we have a room at 8:30. So 9:30 will be the calendar call on that matter, and we will entertain final arguments by anybody who reserved to make final arguments. Bring it to the board for action. I'm not aware of any other future agenda items. Does any board members have future agenda items? Includes item 7, which takes us to item 8, which is our second public comment session. This matter is on our agenda pursuant to Nevada's open meeting law, chapter 241. It is an opportunity for members of the public to address us on matters within our jurisdiction, but we may not take action on these matters. We do welcome members of the public, not the industry. No, I'm the public. To provide comment and on matters that we should be considering. I see that we have one member of the public present in Las Vegas so far. Spellman.
In this, proposed idea of increasing the fee, the taxi cab authority, and looking at the budgets, one of the things that was brought up was the senior ride money that was going to that and how that had been cut back. I would ask that budget be looked at as well. The last time that I believe that they were here and they made a presentation, to me, it sounded like a very inefficient program. It seemed like the majority of money that went was paying salaries at the disability services, and in printing, the actual money that was making it down to seniors to reduce their rides, it didn't seem very efficient to me. I don't think that we should be funding some government salaries and some big printing costs for something. If it's efficient, that's fine, but I just would like you to be looking at that budget as well, if that's where some of this money is going. You're concerned about where does it go?
Sure. Printing costs, I think, were though related to the
Booklets.
and all of that. So I don't know that we get away with it unless we went, yeah, anyway, but
Yeah, and I think.
I get your point. We need to look at that.
Thank you.
So when you work with fiscal, would you, and we may want to give them that agency notice that
It's on.
it's on, and we might discuss their efficiency or lack thereof.
Absolutely.
Or they may want to address their efficiency.
Correct.
Any other member of the public present in the room in Las Vegas who would like to address us? Seeing none, is there any member of the public sitting remotely that would like to address us?
No.
Takes care of agenda item 8, and take to agenda item 9, which is adjournment, and I will take it that because there's tabs 10 through 15 that we just were given those to us for fun. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded. This graph, you just told me. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.